Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth here. I wanted to say happy new year, and as we are exiting 2020 on this New Year's Eve, it is definitely a time for reflection. Obviously this year to some degree has been extremely difficult for all people. It's my cat. Oh, okay, hello. And during this time, we're so busy in today's society, and so many people are running through fight or flight because they're in survival mode, trying to save their business or trying to recover from COVID. There's so much stress and anxiety and worry and fear in the air that when you're in that need to survive, you don't really have the time to sit and reflect and ponder. And it's really easy to be negative during that time. So the one thing that 2020 has brought us has been a big awakening, especially in the realms of personal health and financial stability or well-being. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. Life is very hard today, but a lot of people also do not take responsibility for their finances because we do live in such a highly consumeristic culture that, shopping is an addiction. In America, we've seen how many people with COVID-19, especially the ones who've passed, have had one or two or more ailments or diseases already within their body. And so if this hasn't been the biggest wake-up call for a lot of people to kind of set yourself straight, then I don't know what else humanity and life can do. There are so many people out there with so many different opinions that believe we're heading in the right direction or we're heading in the wrong direction, or humanity has to go through this time because they weren't awakening before. So now things almost have to hit rock bottom in order for people to wake up. But as you know, life is like a river, or peaks and valleys. So if you do hit rock bottom, will you come on up from that position, or will we as a society stay down and stay low? So I invite you to reflect on this year and looking at how 2020 has affected you. Diamonds aren't created overnight, and they're created under a lot of pressure and stress and anxiety. If you do follow any form of astrology, 2020 actually wasn't really a bad year for a lot of fixed signs. That would be Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and the earth sign one is Taurus. So in this year, a lot of people haven't had a really tough or bad year personally. Collectively, yes. And a lot of fixed signs that I know, they've actually had a pretty positive year. Next year, supposedly for fixed signs, we're going to be under a little bit more pressure, so things might be a little more difficult. A lot of mutable signs that I've known as well have had kind of decent, okay years, maybe not the best, but life is always this series of ebbs and flows, and wherever you are at in your life, I just want you, or I invite you, I should say, is just to take a moment to see where you want to go. I've talked about this in other videos. I do believe that we are so intellectual that we really don't need any more of that in our society. We need more wisdom. We need more intelligence that's rooted to the natural part of life, because we have this new anti-human or tech consciousness that's on the rise, everything being artificial. Instead of drinking water, people drink Gatorade. Instead of actually coping with your pain by looking at your human body and going through physical therapy or some other modality, it's just really easy to take a painkiller and to numb the pain. And most people, who do that are the ones that sweep their problems under the rug rather than getting to the root of their situation, or kind of peel back that onion layer to get to the root of the problem of what's going on, to understand the psychosomatic part of the body that a lot of the mindset is contributing to a lot of long-term chronic pain. And everything is in cycles. So for example, if you're in pain, your mind's not going to feel that good. But if you feel fresh and vibrant, your mind's going to feel fresh and vibrant. And then when you feel good, you want to eat good. So everything has its snowball effect. These are a lot of the topics that I've talked about, not only in 2020, but in former years from doing all of these videos. So if we do want to make a change, I believe we have to get back to the humanistic part of ourselves, which is that connection to the land, connection to the energy and to God and to whole foods, spirit, nature, whatever you want to call it. Because as we continue through with this more artificial consciousness that's on the rise, we have seen how, in my opinion, how narcissism and psychopathy has been pretty much bred into every one of us. The division that's happening right now has caused some people, even on the most mundane topics, whether it's a mask or a vaccine or political opinion, people have no tolerance for the other side, for the other opinion. And instead of embracing the Christ consciousness and sending that person love and not fueling your ego to get caught up in the traps of the online world of just arguing all the time, people succumb to the lower brain, the lizard brain, and they become more narcissistic and psychopathic. It's get off my channel if you don't believe in vaccine. I'm going to unfriend you just because you had a different opinion than me. This is all psychopathic and narcissistic behavior. When you understand psychopathy, sociopathy, and narcissism, all of it roots to destruction. Some of it is self-destruction, but it is destruction of others. It is not uplifting, it is not embracing, and it is not open-minded. Being spiritual, having that Christ consciousness, being, universal or one with God, or just being so firm and grounded with your own spiritual beliefs. Like Jesus was a rock. He walked through the desert and was tempted by Satan. And he did not succumb to temptation. He did not succumb to any, herd mentality just because he wanted to be liked by the Roman people or whatever. So why is this all important? It's important because the more you contribute to narcissism and psychopathy, the less we can grow, the less we can have influence. I've never once deleted one person off of my channel. I have had to block one person who I formerly dated, who was a very mentally unhealthy person, and it led to hacking and stalking. So that in itself is a different story. But like I've expressed in other videos, like I personally see stuff that blows my mind every single day, and I kind of lose it maybe a little bit in my head, but I don't need to broadcast that because it's a waste of energy. Do you want to fuel narcissism and psychopathy, or do you want to fuel the light part of our consciousness? Embracing love, embracing other people's opinions. That's one of the great parts of living in the Western world, is that we've been able to do whatever we kind of wanted for a really long time within the realms of, not like doing murder or stealing and things like that. You could eat whatever you want. You could have sex with whoever you want. You could be an artist as a side gig. You could have a side hustle and open up an app. We've had all these wonderful privileges, and then once they start going away or being suppressed, that's when the soul tends to want to rebel or seek out. So accepting, coming to a point of accepting in people, but loving them and blessing them or forgiving them. If they call you an a-hole or something like that online, that person is just flying by the seat of their emotions, and that does not come from a higher sense of place or a higher sense of wisdom. So getting back to some of the roots, whether you believe in Christ consciousness or if you're into yoga and you believe in the yamas and the niyamas, the one thing that I learned through my yoga guru in India in 2007 when I studied yoga there in college, it was all about learning what you can control and what you can't control, but it also embraced, don't even have negative thoughts toward anybody. And I remember at that point, I was like, God, I can't even wish harm on them. Like a guy that broke my heart, I just kind of hope he experienced the same thing. And that part of revenge, eye for an eye type of mentality, once you get to like higher planes of spiritual development and growth, you can see even how petty that is. Every soul is here on the planet trying to operate and survive and grow and, you know, function. And all we have to do is just do our best to serve other people, to help them on their path, but also bless them. And that's part of this point of tough love. Nature is part, you know, nature is the ruler of tough love. The mother raises the cubs and then she kicks them out and then they have to go out and survive. So nature doesn't lie to us. It has shown us everything that we've needed to know, the good and the bad sides. But we humans have that consciousness to choose the bad side. And with the yoga training, the yamas and the niyamas, it's not wishing ill on people, not even thinking a negative thought toward another person. And that takes a lot of time to develop and grow that type of mentality. When you start to see the little things in life, like you killing ants and spiders, like, okay, if you have an infestation, you have to get rid of that. But you know what I mean? Just going around and killing it, like once you get to higher planes of awareness and spirituality, you start to appreciate and value all forms of life. So you may notice that people, like spiritual people, they won't, you know, just go and kill a cricket because it's in its house. They'll put it outside or whatever. So if you want to take a moment to reflect in 2020 and how to move forward in 2021, a lot of spiritual people think we're moving into a great era. I personally don't know. I think it's a mix of both. We kind of see where it leads because of social engineering has driven the crowd to go in one area versus the other. Even now with health and vaccines, you have quantum physics, which is rooted to a lot of spiritual manifestation versus like old school Newtonian physics. So which one is going to win? But my recommendation, if you are here on this channel to learn or to grow or to get, you know, different opinions, is that you continue to build yourself up more like that Christ consciousness. Because if Christ was the embodiment or the incarnation of God on this planet, he was the ultimate being and healer and the ultimate person. And just look at that behavior. Look at his behavior and then look at the behavior of what the hell is happening today between looting and stealing. And even Gandhi's statue got ruined 2 weeks ago in DC. And I'm thinking in my head, like, good Lord, if Gandhi's getting vandalized in DC, then like where really are we headed? Because it's getting too radical of energy and we need to pull it back and get more grounded and get out of our head. The head is, you know, the age of Aquarius is like a balloon into the air. You need to get that tether latched on to, you know, something firm onto the ground. So I want to wish you a happy new year, a happy start to 2021. I hope it does go in a better direction. We shall see how it goes, because I thought 2020 was going to be an amazing year, and then holy hell, look at what happened. Happy new year. Stay well. I hope you had a great holiday season. If you've been sick, I hope that you find the healing light. If you've been in financial struggle, just be open to God, that know that somehow these resources, whether it's food or money or a gift card or something like that, will come to you. Don't be afraid to ask God for help, but don't treat him like a genie bottle, okay? Have a great rest of your day. Happy new year, and see you in 2021. See you next year. Bye-bye.